Now I would like to introduce Chris Angelli. Chris is a never married but almost divorced lesbian mom of 2 middle schoolers. If she were not here right now, she'd be using her geek skills to stream the season 3 premiere of Downtown Abbey.
As my mother lies dying in the living room, the condo buzzes with life. Her family is all here: husband, kids, in-laws, a quorum of grandchildren, her spoiled pug, Oscar. My 7-year-old niece begins work on Rainbow Opus 27 while Oscar tries to steal her crayons. Oscar barks. My niece laughs. The hearing is the last sense to go, says Laurel, the tattooed hospice nurse. I can't get that phrase out of my head. The hearing is the last sense to go. We don't know what it's like to have someone die at home. But thanks to my mom, we do know how to live. We get busy. My sister Karen orders a pizza, and a couple of my brothers run to the Packy for a case of beer. My brother Dave, recently crowned Dave the Fave, pulls out his guitar. If you ever asked one of the 5 of us who was Mom's favorite, we all would have said me, and we would have been right. We were each her favorites sometimes, but 2 Thanksgivings ago, before Mom was sick, the truth had slipped out between a sip of Dunky's Iced and a Munchkin bite. I don't even remember how she said it, but it popped out, stayed hanging in the air for Karen and me to dissect. She tried to backpedal after it slipped out. Well, you know, Dave and I taught together, the girls were around a lot. She tried to reel it in, but that genie was not going back into that bottle. It became our last running joke. The following Christmas, my mom decorated her coffee table with coasters containing pictures of Dave. Baby Dave in his bright blue onesie, high school graduation Dave in the red gown, getting married Dave in his gray morning coat. The coasters were still sitting on our coffee table as we sat there 18 months later. In that moment, listening to Dave sing, I knew that in declaring him her favorite, my mom had done what she always did best. She had given him exactly what he needed. Mom knew that of all her children, David needed to be Dave the Fave. He had survived a Jamaican jail, then a brain tumor. He was currently battling cancer himself. He kept these demons at bay by self-medicating with cigarettes and 6-packs of Irish Ativan. Our recovering alcoholic and ex-smoker mom didn't nag him to quit smoking or quit drinking. Mom anointed him her favorite. When the pizza and beer arrived, the smell of food and commotion drew my stepdad, Bob, out of his cave. Bob is the one Mom is worried about. At 78 years old, he has never lived alone, never cooked a meal. He's been lost since the diagnosis 8 weeks earlier. He wanders into the living room, pulls up a chair, sits down with a big groan, hands on his knees, eyebrows raised. He takes a breath. I know this face, this body language. Is it 6 o'clock, Bob? Time for the 6 o'clock lie? Bob smiles at me. We're both remembering the early years of their marriage, the family dinners on Carter Road, the commotion, the joking, Bob's stories. Did I ever tell you guys about our second date? The one where you went to Rosalie's and Mom's ruby brooch popped off and you got to look down her shirt? Oh no, that was our first date. Our second date was a lunch date, Red Rock Bistro down the beach in Swampscott. It was that first beautiful day of spring, you know the one. That day that smells like spring. Your mom asked me to meet her at Red Rock so we could walk along the causeway before we ate. When we get to second staircase, she asked me to sit on the bench for a minute. She walks to the seawall and leans over. Sitting at the bottom of the wall, watching the waves and getting high, were David and Glennie Dunnigan. Hello, Dave, she says. Glennie says, Jesus Christ, Dave, that sounds like your mother. Oh, it is his mother, she says. It's time for you guys to get back to school now. All right, will you give us a ride back? Oh, no. You got yourselves down here. You can get yourselves back. She walks back to my bench, calm as can be. Let's go have lunch, she says. My job is done here. With that, Oscar jumps on the bed looking for a walk. Bob takes him out, and my brother and I are left sitting with Mom. Dave is stroking her head while I hold her hand. We're talking logistics. The granny flat's almost done, Dave says. We need to pay the contractors $15K. I can write you a check for my share today. You're on your own getting Karen's share. Mom says Bob's an easy roommate, but are you ready for Oscar? You know, Mom actually cooks chicken and rice for Oscar. I'll cook for Oscar, says Dave, and we've got a Costco jar of peanut butter all set for Bob. We're quiet for a moment, and I noticed that my mom has stopped breathing. While we were talking about construction and Bob and peanut butter and Oscar, she left us. The hearing is the last thing to go, said Laurel, the tattooed hospice nurse. My job's done here, said my mom.